Hi there, welcome to Farmer Brown's garden. It's March 2020. The times are a bit tough for all of us. I'm one of the lucky ones. I've got a big garden I can stay in. Hopefully you're holding up. I just want to talk to you a little bit about things that you can actually get growing now. If you can get some mail order seeds, or you can go down to the garden centre and buy some seeds, things that you can get planted, get coming on, and then hopefully in 2, 3, 4 weeks time you'll start seeing some leaves, and then maybe a little bit later you'll have some more interesting things coming up throughout the garden. If you've got a bit of space, if you've got a pot, if you've got a tub, if you've got somewhere outside that you can get growing things and get things coming on, then that's great. Some of the things I want to talk to you about, they can grow in any shaped pot. They're mainly leaf vegetables, and some of them are beans, some of them are root vegetables, but nonetheless they should all hopefully grow outside. I'm just going to move Sushi because she's making crackling noises. Right, so let's see what we've got. So let's talk a bit about beans, okay? A couple of things that you can get going on beans wise. And one thing I never talk about in Farmer Brown's garden is runner beans. I don't grow runner beans, I don't like runner beans, so you'll never hear me talking about beans. But one bean I do love is broad beans. This is Masterpiece Green Long Pod, reliable and popular as per the packet. You can sow this anywhere between February and May, so we're smack bang in the middle of the sowing time. I've got mine coming on in fibre pots, so when I put them out into the garden a little bit later, once they've grown nice and big and strong, the fibre pots will just decompose into the soil, and those will have a really good head start. You can plant them directly outside if you want, but that's something that you'll get a great meal out of. Lots of nutrition, lots of really good stuff in that plant. Another thing, it's a little bit more interesting, a little bit more unusual, if you like Asian food, particularly Japanese food, is edamame. This one's called Summer Shell. These varieties that you generally get from the UK seed providers are actually bred to be as hardy and tough as possible for the UK market. This one harvests a little bit later in August and November. The beauty of it is you can actually leave the pods on the plant until you need them, so you can actually have that going on for quite a long time. I've got them once again going in the fibre pots, and when it's nice and hard and ready outside, I'll put them into the ground. Got to make sure you always cook these beans. You must never eat them raw. Now then, another interesting plant that I'm also got coming on, this is cauliflower romanesco. It's a little bit unusual compared to your standard white cauliflower. This has sort of greeny yellow spiky florets, so it looks good as well as tasting good. I've got mine in modules. Once again, you can grow them outside if you wish straight away, but I like to have my cabbages and other plants coming on in modules because it's easier to give them a really good start. It's easier to make sure that you're keeping pests away from them if you can, and protecting them from particularly tough or rainy weather, whatever it may be. So cauliflower romanesco, this is from Seed Parade, this one, that's why it's like a little small plastic packet. A little bit more unusual, a little bit more interesting for you might also be to think about growing some artichokes. Now artichokes do need a bit of space, so if you've got a bed, herbaceous border even, bring on some artichokes. So not only do they look fantastic statuesque plants, they will make some beautiful flower heads that you can pick and eat. This is a variety called Violet Globe, once again coming on in a slightly larger module that hopefully we can be harvesting anywhere between July and October according to the packet, so let's look forward to that. Now then, a couple of other things that I do like to grow, not always as successful. Cabbages, and now's the time to be growing summer and autumn cabbages if you can. This is Primo 2, and this is a white-hearted, solid white-hearted cabbage, sort of thing you'd expect to see in a standard supermarket. You can grow this outside. I'm growing mine indoors between now and April, and that will help harvest. You can harvest your cabbages anyway up to September. So get some cabbages on, they're good for you. Pretty good solid cropping produce as well. you'll have to watch for the bugs, and that's why I keep mine coming on indoors as much as I can to give them the best start in life. I'll talk a little bit in future videos about the best way of caring for your cabbages, because it's not always straightforward. But the one thing I'll do when you put them into the seed modules is you've really got to make sure that the seeds are pressed down, that the soil is very, very compact. Brassicas like to grow in compact soil because they've got very shallow spreading roots, and they'll flop around, and they won't grow as well if they're not really pressed down. So that's the same as when they're seedlings and you put them into the ground. Really give them a good smashing down so that the roots are really well pressed in. Another variety I'm growing is Picador. That's a nice dark leafing cabbage, and similar thing. Sow between now and April, and that will be harvesting in the autumn time. Something a little bit more unusual, a little bit interesting as well, if you've ever grown it or you've ever eaten it at least, watercress. All you need to do, you can grow watercress in standard potting compost. You just need to make sure you keep your potting compost nice and damp, obviously, hence the name. But watercress is a rapidly growing plant. It's full of minerals, full of nutrition, and really good, something that's useful to have coming on if you've got it. Then what else have we got here? Lettuces. This is all the year round. This is a standard butterhead lettuce. I like butterheads. The leaves are a little bit velvety, which means I think they hold a salad dressing really well, and I really enjoy the taste of butterhead. So if you've got a nice butterhead lettuce coming on that you like, you can have that growing in a pot, container, wherever you've got a little bit of space. See if you can get some lettuces coming on. Then another thing that you might want to consider is some parsley. Now you probably will need to grow your parsley in a slightly warmer place. You might be able to bring this on in a house, but this will grow fantastically in pots, and then you can put it outside on a balcony in the back garden, sunny bright spot. Keep it well fed, keep it watered, and that will give you that lovely parsley salad addition throughout the whole of the year. So that's all good. And then if you've got a bit of space, I would wait a little bit as I think about this now, but you can get some beetroots on. This is a variety I've got. This is called Chiogo. It's got a lovely stripe, so it's nice for salads. But you bring that, you start bringing that on if you've got some soil that's been warmed up by the sunshine. See if you can get some beetroot going. So there's a few ideas. Some of the other things you might want to think about, if you've got pots, if you've got big containers, plant some carrots, plant some rocket, anything you fancy. The watchword or the tip is always grow what you like to eat. Don't grow what people think you should be growing or what they tell you to grow. You grow what you like to eat. So if you like salads, you like lettuces, grow lettuces. If you like carrots, grow carrots. Make sure you've got the conditions for them, obviously, but grow what you like and you will eat well and hopefully stay well. So there you go. Obviously subscribe if this is the first time you visited my channel, and if you've got any questions, tips, fire them out in the comment section, and hopefully I'll do my best to answer you.